These are the four most important lessons I've learned in my 23 years of life that have allowed me to travel to six, or probably I think actually seven different countries. It's allowed me to build a six-figure online coaching business. And it's really allowed me to just really turn dreams into visions that then became realities. Okay. These four things transform my life. And I want to share these with you in hope that one, they can inspire you, maybe also confirm that you're on the right track, depending on where you're at in life. And again, just a way for me to share my story, document my story, and continue inspiring and persuading others towards a path that I believe in and how it can be of value to others. Okay. So let's dive in. Number one is perspective. Everything in life is about perspective. If two people get into a car accident and one person hops out of the car and is like, I'm so sorry. Again, in this example, maybe they just say they rear-ended the other person. I'm so sorry. I just rear-ended you. I'm okay. Are you okay? Right? That person's perspective is, I fucked up. Okay. At least, cars can be replaced, right? Insurance, whatever. But, our health is number one, making sure nobody's injured. Let's say the other individual that got rear-ended hops out the car and they're perfectly fine health-wise in this example. But let's say they get out just completely anxious, oblivious, and they just drop dead of a heart attack right there because there's just so much stress. Their mind and their body's absolutely going crazy. Somebody had a panic attack, whatever it may be. And they went ahead and because, somebody hit them or an accident for whatever reason, it's way too much. They had a heart attack right there and dropped dead. I know that's an extreme example, but it really does illustrate the fact perfectly that two people can have two different perspectives. One can kind of help you stay safe and help you be proactive instead of reactive, which is what you want to be in life. And the other person can completely be in oblivion and literally drop dead because they think the world is ending and they don't know how to just zoom out in life, realize that shit happens. And the most important thing is to create space from that event and then to take the next best step forward in life. Everything is about perspective. You can always turn a negative into a positive. You have to always look at scenarios where you feel like you failed, which is just a psychological failure. Because if you learn something from it, right, all about your perspective, you really gained. Maybe you just had a short-term little dip from your perspective or your point of view. But if you let that turn that into a lesson and you let that empower you to not making the same mistake going forward or telling others so they can avoid the mistake that you've gone through, you can really switch your perspective to one that empowers you. Is a sense of empowerment instead of sense of I'm a victim or this happened to me or feel sorry for me. Okay, so perspective is very, very important. Your perspective on things determines, is this going to hold you back? Is this going to put you down in life and take you a few steps back? Or is it going to help you move forward in life and actually save time and use it as a valuable lesson? Okay, that's number one. Number two is identity. If you want to be a person that has certain characteristic traits and lives a certain life, you have to understand, how does that person live their life? What characteristics, what values, what principles and beliefs does that kind of individual hold near and dear to their heart? And how can you become a person that represents those values and those characteristics and principles and beliefs that you want in the version of you today? How you view yourself, how you carry yourself, how you speak about yourself out loud to yourself, your internal conversation, your inner dialogue, all that is a representation of your identity. If you want to do anything very powerful, very impactful on a very high magnitude or big scale in life, you need to have a very strong, high level identity. And what I mean by that is you need to be and embody the person that does basically all of the right shit. I know that can sound like a lot, but it's very much the truth. How you live your life, from how you brush your teeth to your sense of cleanliness and not being a dirty individual, to how you carry yourself, to how you communicate with your tone, to the words that you use, all these different things that determines your identity, how other people perceive you, how you perceive yourself. This will help you get new opportunities. This will help you build deeper relationships, and it will help you transform your life, how you see yourself, and how you live the life that is yours, your identity. And that also leads me into point number three, which it's a beautiful translation here, is consistency. Hormozy says this best. Anybody that is consistent in anything will outweigh and will beat in anybody in life over, a certain time lapse or a certain time scale, usually one that's way more long-term oriented, which is another really good point in this video. Make sure you always do things that are long-term oriented. Go for the big swings, things that have a very, very, very big time delay, right? Delayed gratification, key principle here. Make sure that you're always consistent. A consistent person will always be somebody that uses intensity or that can run really, really fast and then slow down while you just zip by because you pace yourself. You did things that were sustainable and allowed you to show up every day and continuously put one foot in front of the other because you're a consistent individual. Consistency is not just about discipline. It's not just about motivation. Those are important. Those do play a role. But what's really, really important here is that you live by an identity that has a pillar that you are a consistent individual. So when the discipline fails, when the motivation is not there and you don't feel like it, and it's just one of those bad days that we all have, your identity, who you are, your beliefs, your principles, what you represent, those stand for something. And that's what allows you to show up and still remain consistent no matter the current circumstances or how you feel. So be an individual that's consistent in life, and you'll unlock that consistency and be consistent because it's a part of who you are. The same way, going back to identity, if you're a very clean individual, you value cleanliness and organization, not being dirty or messy, you know to brush your teeth in the morning, right? You know to make your bed. It's how you live your life. It's how you embody who you are and what you represent. Okay. And the final point is homies. Yes, I said that exactly right. Homies. The people around you will define where you go. If you have energy and people around you that do not think big, that do not challenge your ideas, not to failure, but challenge them to make sure they're valid, there's validity in those ideas, they can actually add real world value to society, to the marketplace. The people around you will literally determine how far you go and also show you what's possible. I talk about this many times on Instagram and just in life between different friends, homies, different people, family. You should always have three tiers of people in your life. Number one, you should have one, or ideally, right? More the better. A few mentors that are really your role models, people that have achieved big things. You really look up to them. Every time you see them, they just drop crazy game. They're full of wisdom. These are the individuals that you really want to have in your life that are your mentors. They're not just a few steps ahead of you. They've really done well in life, right? This can be like a mentor that you look up to that you don't know yet. It could be somebody like an NBA All-Star, rest in peace, somebody like Kobe Bryant, his work ethic, what he stood for, his family values, right? For example, the accomplishments he's had, the achievements, role models like that, or preferably people that you know, right? So I think that's number one is having these really big role models, people to really shoot really big for. I think second, kind of coming down to that, is people that are just a few steps ahead of you, right? So this can be individuals that are like a coach to you, or really friends that are kind of just a bit ahead in business or sales or just personal development. I think these people are really super, super key to really going far in life. They're a few steps ahead of you. They've achieved the life that you want, and they're great people to take advice from. And then lastly, is people on the same wavelength as you, same part in their journey, same place, more or less, right? You can collab with them, challenge their ideas, win together, fail together, always pushing forward together, great people to live with in co-working spaces, things of that sort. And last but not least, I almost left it out. Make sure you also have mentees, people that you can pass on your knowledge to. You can tell them experiences that help them avoid mistakes you've made, pitfalls you've gone through. Having people on all these different tiers and levels really, really will help you become and stay a top performer in life and live the life you truly want to, and turn your dreams into real working visions you're working towards every day, and then your physical living reality, my friend.